Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu arrived in Lagos on a working visit shortly after attending the coronation of the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Ladoja in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. This was confirmed in a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. According to the statement, the President's visit comes as Nigeria prepares for the modest celebration of its 65th independence anniversary. The statement stated that while in Lagos, Tinubu is expected to meet with key players in the private sector as well as senior government officials. 1,000 women in Benue State have received cash and empowerment kits under the Renewed Hope initiative of Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. The program was held at the Benue Fertilizer and Chemical Company in Makurdi. Felicity Indere tells us more.
The Renewed Hope initiative of wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has again reached women in Benue State with support aimed at strengthening small businesses and promoting self-reliance.
500 women from each of the 36 states and the FCT will be receiving 50,000 naira each to strengthen and recapitalize their existing small businesses.
Through her state coordinator, Scholastica Bemsor, the First Lady explained that the program provides recapitalization grants and empowerment kits to women, recognizing their key role in nation building.
Similarly, women's empowerment is central to achieving all the SDGs, especially SDG 5, on achieving gender equality and empower all women and girls, and SDG 8 on decent work and economic growth, which are both relevant to what we are doing here.
She added that the initiative built on the partnership between the Renewed Hope Initiative and the Tony Elumelu Foundation to support women, traders and small-scale entrepreneurs.
I thank the Tony Elumelu Foundation who donated 1 billion naira to the Renewed Hope Initiative to directly support 18,500 women across the nation.
Stakeholders at the event also applauded the effort, describing it as a boost to the state's economy.
You know, when the family is empowered, there will be family security. And when there's family security, the multiplier effect will be that there will be peace all over Nigeria. So please, my dear sisters, my dear mothers, utilize it very well, this opportunity that Her Excellency, the Mother of the Nation, has given to you today.
When you train a woman, you train a nation. And by giving assistance to empower women of Benue State, the federal government is by extension telling us that they are facing Benue women squarely and ensuring that they will do well so that all our children will be employed, all our children will go to school, all our children will have skills that they can use.
This is very big for me. I'm going to use it to start a small business, and I believe that it's going to help me and help other women too. I'm really excited. I have an existing business. I like to this money for.
500 women received 50,000 naira each, while another 500 got items such as freezers, gas cookers with ovens, generators, and grinding machines to start or expand their businesses. In Makurdi, Felicity Indere, reporting for Global TV News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has met with United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres in New York to push Nigeria's global aspirations at the ongoing 80th United Nations General Assembly. The talks focus on Nigeria's quest for a permanent seat on the Security Council along climate change, artificial intelligence and development. Shettima urged the UN to support Nigeria even more, while Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuggar disclosed that Guterres commended Nigeria's determination. Tragedy has struck in Zamfara State as a mining pit collapsed at Kadauri site in Maru local government, leaving scores feared dead. Local sources confirm that at least 13 bodies have been recovered, with several others still trapped on the rubble from the incident. The State Solid Mineral Development Agency's Executive Secretary, Nasiru Bamanga, says he is awaiting full details but will personally visit the site to assess the situation. Over now to the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has appealed for stronger support to end banditry in the Northwest and assured Nigerians of the military's resolve to defeat insecurity nationwide. Speaking through Defense spokesperson Brigadier General Tukur Gusau in Kebbi State, Musa emphasized collaboration with the media, communities and youths intelligence gathering. He condoned reports of communities aiding bandits and urged residents to join hands with security agencies to restore peace and stability. Healthcare services in Zamfara State have been disrupted as nurses and midwives down tools beginning a 6-day warning strike over unresolved salary dispute with the state government. Over now to Mukhtar Kasim's report.
The industrial action, which affects all state-owned general hospitals, is spearheaded by the Zamfara State chapter of the National Association of Nurses and Midwives. Chairman of the union, Sani Shehu, explained that while the state government approved a new salary structure for doctors under the Consolidated Medical Salary Structure in June, it neglected to implement the equivalent Consolidated Health Salary Structure for nurses and midwives. He laments that the union made several appeals and held talks with the government up until August without success.
The expiration of our ultimatum is yesterday by 12 midnight Friday. I try myself to engage some members of the committee, but all full of abortive. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we have no option rather than to continue with our suspended ongoing nurses strike.
Earlier this month, the union embarked on a 7-day warning strike, which was suspended after 24 hours following government intervention. The union warns that if their demands are not met by the end of the warning strike, they will embark on an indefinite industrial action.
If the demands are met or not met, according to our own constitution, we are coming back to start to what I can say, to plan again, because the next one is independent strike.
For now, patients in some public hospitals may have to brace up for longer waits and possible service disruptions. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
Medical tourism continues to drain Nigeria's economy and weaken its health system. As thousands of citizens travel abroad for treatment that could be available at home with better investment in the sector. Our correspondent Zara Nasiru takes a closer look at the rising trend of medical tourism and its impact on Nigeria's healthcare and economy.
What was once the preserve of people from less developed nations seeking advanced treatment in foreign hospitals has now become a common practice among Nigerians across different income levels. Experts say the trend underscores the weakness of Nigeria's healthcare delivery system, noting that it does not only drain foreign exchange but also exposes patients to risks such as foreign infections and unregulated standards of care. Observation shows that many Nigerians have more confidence in seeking medical treatment abroad than within their own country. Some citizens argue that the persistent decay in local health infrastructure is the reason medical tourism has become inevitable for those who can afford it.
Our health sector is in comatose because everything in Nigeria health sector, for me, I don't think is working.
Okay, on that note, I think they feel like Nigerian doctors, they are not really professional, unlike outside medical personnel. And again, their facilities is more advanced than Nigerian facilities.
Hassan Yola Hassan recounts his journey from Nigeria to Egypt for medical treatment, explaining how he regained his health after procedures he could not access at home.
We don't have facilities here. We don't have medical facilities here. Therefore, our health institution is very poor and so on. That's why even me, I was in Egypt the last 2 years for medical tourism to go and treat myself there, because I spent about 5 to 10 years here without getting a good treatment.
Medical experts emphasize that Nigeria must urgently invest in modern facilities, train personnel, and strengthen regulations to curb dependence on foreign hospitals. They warn that without deliberate reforms, medical tourism will continue to undermine Nigeria's economy and healthcare system. Zahra Nasser, reporting for Global TV News.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has approved the immediate dissolution of the state's pension board, directing that its function be taken over by the Office of the Accountant General. In a statement by the head of service, Dr. Inyangi Brown, members of the defunct board were asked to hand over all assets to the pensions office. The governor is expected to constitute a new board in due course, marking his first major decision since the end of emergency rule in the state. Governor Hope Uzodinma is to unveil a special compendium titled A Decade of Impactful Progressive Governance in Nigeria, documenting 10 years of All Progressive Congress leadership. The governor, who was made this known in Owerri, Imo State, while inspecting some of the projects set for commissioning, said the unveiling would be part of the party's anniversary. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ibe, reports.
The governor, who authored the compilation with his team, explained that the book, A Decade of Impactful Progressive Governance in Nigeria, highlights where the APC met Nigeria in 2015 and the progress achieved over the past decade.
The compilation was authored by me and my team, and it will be presented to the public on 30th of this month. And the Imo will be playing host to the national leadership of our great party. And the chief guest of honor will be Mr. President himself. All the past national chairmen of our great party will be in attendance. Members of Progressive Governors Forum will be in attendance.
He announced that Imo State will host the national leadership of the APC on 30th of this month, with President Bola Tinubu as the chief guest of honor. Past national chairmen of the party and members of the Progressive Governors Forum are also expected at the event. Governor Uzodinma further pointed out that other projects to be commissioned by the president include the Owerri-Mbise Road, Owerri-Okigwe Road, and a new flyover at Asanta Cathedral, designed to end years of traffic congestion.
One of the significant things that happened in Imo State was the huge infrastructural gap we met on ground. We've been able to close the gap to some reasonable extent, among which is an international conference center that is capable of hosting the world. And we'll be playing host for the first time with that facility on 30th of this month. So I've gone around to see the extent of completion of work in some of these facilities. I'm impressed and happy with the contractors, the work they have done so far.
For Governor Hope Uzodinma, the APC's decade in power is a testimony of progress, unity, and commitment to the Nigerian people. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has urged Nigerians to pray for the growth and progress of the nation. The president, who was represented by the Minister of Information, Ahmed Idris, made this known at the Jumat service to commemorate Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary. Over now to Samuel Odi's report.
The president, who was represented by Minister of Information Mohammed Idris at the Jumat service, thanked God for the peace and prosperity the country have enjoyed so far.
The president is asking all Nigerians to forget about whatever differences that there are. Differences will always be there, but there is the message of hope, the message of unity, the message of togetherness that all of us need to imbibe, so that all.
At the National Mosque in Abuja, prominent Islamic cleric Imam Lukman Zakaria led the congregation in offering special prayers for the continued stability, prosperity and security of the nation. The cleric urged leaders to embrace justice, fairness and accountability in governance while calling on citizens to remain steadfast in prayers and commitment to nation building.
The estates of Nupe, Alhaji Yahaya Abubakar and top government officials and members of diplomatic community all united in thanksgiving for Nigerians' journey since independence in 1960. He called for Nigerians to unite and shun tribalism.
For that end, we're moving gradually, but the sky is our limit, and we pray Almighty Allah to guide our leaders aright. We pray Almighty Allah to give us peace and security and development in this country.
Similar prayer sections were observed in mosques across the 36 states of the Federation, reinforcing the collective hope for a stronger and more united Nigeria as Nigerian clocks 65. The prayers offered today serve as a reminder that beyond policies and politics, divine guidance and commitments of the people remain central to shaping the nation's future. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has rejected the no-case submission filed by Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the banned indigenous people of Biafra, in his terrorism trial. Justice James Omotosho ruled that the prosecution led by the Department of State Services has established a prima facie case requiring Kanu to open his defense. Ubong Usoro has details.
Kanu's legal team has argued that no evidence linked him to terrorism, claiming his calls for self-defense were constitutional rights, not incitement to violence.
The judge made a ruling that there's a prima facie evidence that needs to be explained. So in common parlance, it calls on him to come and mount his own defense. But there is the other aspect of the ruling that concerned extraordinary rendition. That very one is one that compounded us, because the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is so open and notorious.
The challenge is prolonged solitary confinement. However, the court found sufficient grounds to proceed. In a significant health-related development, the court ordered the Nigerian Medical Association to form an expert team to assess Kanu's medical condition within the 8 days. This report will determine his fitness to stand trial. The next court session is scheduled for October the 8th to review the medical finding and set the trial date.
Well, there's a short date given of 8 days for the NMA to submit its report. So somebody is ill, I don't think NIA is going to change much of that. But I think the judge wanted to leave the record open to admit every possible evidence regarding this matter. But meantime, we are disappointed. Our client remains ill and remains detained, and we're not happy about that. His situation requires urgent and emergent care. So what?
Kanu has been in custody since his return from Kenya in 2021. The trial will now continue following the judge's latest ruling. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. Cycle returns, Pegasus threatens shutdown of Dangote refinery over sacked workers. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pegasus, has threatened to picket the Dangote refinery after 800 workers allegedly lost their jobs for joining the union. The association accused the refinery of replacing Nigerians with over 2,000 Indian nationals, while Dangote management insisted only a few workers were dismissed in an ongoing reorganization linked to repeat sabotage. The refinery management defended the move as necessary for safety, but Pegasus General Secretary Lamumba Ugwubkwe maintained the sacking were targeted at union members. The National Pension Commission has raised the minimum capital requirement for pension fund administrations for 2 billion to 20 billion naira in a major regulatory shakeup. Pension fund administrators with assets under management above 500 billion naira must now maintain 20 billion naira plus 1% of excess assets, while special operators like the Nigerian Police Force pensions must hold 30 billion naira. The Commission says the review effective immediately for new licenses, but with a 2026 deadline for existing operators, is to straighten financial stability, improve risk management, and safeguard the contributory pension scheme. On the foreign news now, Madagascar's President Andre Ijolina has sacked his energy minister in a bid to dull days of protest over crippling power and water shortages. But demonstrators say rallies will continue. At least 5 people have been killed, businesses looted, and students complain of 12-hour blackouts that have halted classes for weeks, while protesters accuse security forces of repressing citizens instead of stopping looters. Despite an overnight curfew and the president branding the unrest acts of destabilization, many residents have joined efforts to clean the capital, stressing their support for peaceful demonstrations. The United States is set to revoke the visa of Colombian President Gustavo Petro for what Washington described as incendiary action, deepening tensions between the two countries. The Trump administration recently decertified Colombia as an ally in the drug war, citing frustrations with the South American nation policies through sanctions were not imposed. Colombia's interior minister reacted angrily, writing on X that Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu should have been sanctioned instead of Petro. Authorities in Thailand say at least 7 people have now died in a severe flood caused by heavy monsoon rain, affecting over 260,000 people along the Chao Phraya River. Thailand Prime Minister visited the hardest hit province, ordering the distribution of survival kits and sandbag reinforcements while warning of further risks of landslides. Experts say climate change is worsening the scale of extreme weather as the country braces for more heavy rainfall in the coming days. In sports stories now, West Ham United has confirmed the appointment of Nuno Espirito Santo as manager just after parting ways with Graham Potter following poor results. Transfer journalist Ferranzo Romanos reports that the Portuguese coach signed his contract and will lead his first training session immediately as Hammer seeks a receipt. Nuno, best known for his successful spell with Wolverhampton Wanderers and Nottingham Forest, is tasked with lifting West Ham's league from after a disappointing start to the season. Remo Stars have progressed to the second preliminary round of the CAF Champions League after defeating US Zelemarjo of Comoros 1-0 in Abeokuta, completing a dominant 5-0 aggregate win. Alex Oyowa's 74th minute penalty sealed the secondary victory after Remo had already blown away the visitors 4-0 in the first encounter. The Nigerian champions will next face continental heavyweights Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa in what promises to be a stern test of their ambitions. Now that's it on News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.